completed, then I will upgrade you, Kaya, as a host, and I'll be here as a background listening. If something goes wrong, I try to fix it, but I'm sure you all handle it very well.
Yeah, so you will be available via...
I'm listening, or at least in the chat, but also...
But you will be available on Slack then.
Completed, then I will upgrade you, Kaya, as a host.
Yeah. The YouTube sharing is live. I just checked it. Hi, just quick question. Can you guys see right now when I'm doing something else? Like, do you see the chat that I'm opening and everything, or do you just see the slide that I'm sharing?
The slide.
Okay, so now you don't see anything else but the slide from my computer?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, just so there won't be any in the problem. Julia, are you here?
No, I ran away.
We do see that arrow going around the screen though, like where you're headed, your mouse.
You see where my mouse is?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and I see that drop down when you just went to the top.
People can now join the call as guests. Julia, just quickly, when we will be introducing from the organizer side, we will do it like this, that I will first say a sentence, then Meredith will say a few sentences, and then me again, and then we will give back to you.
Perfect. Yes, excellent. Hey, a quick question about the Brella networking tool. Have you already shared the links to that?
Yes.
So do people already know what it is and I could remind them?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I can, if you want to, I can forward you the email I have sent to them. So maybe in the break you can read through what I sent them.
Yeah, that's fine. And I will turn my camera on once you start welcoming people in.
Yes.
Yeah. Quick check. Anybody here is a baby crying now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot or
no?
one?
Just...
No.
Okay. Damn. Okay. Cool.
Okay, I'm just quickly testing with Meredith if there's sound on YouTube. Meredith, can you hear anything when you open the YouTube link?
No, there is no sound.
There's no sound.
No.
Just quickly testing.
Yeah, now. Okay, now it's good. It's in the...
Meredith, can you hear anything? Oh, it's just delayed. Okay. It's a little bit odd. Sami? So the link would have to be open now for 2 minutes already, and we do not have any participants yet. That cannot be, because I know that some people are trying to access. Oh, there's sound on YouTube. Oops.
All right. Hi, everybody. We're still going to wait for a couple of more minutes for everyone to join. Please get comfortable, grab a cup of coffee, and we will begin shortly. Meanwhile, as we wait for all the other ladies to join the event, you can share the link to live streaming to those people who couldn't maybe register in advance, but would like to follow us and watch the event. So please share the YouTube link with all. All right, I think it's time to get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all feeling great today and this gloomy November day. So hi, my name is Julia Salarenko, and I'm going to be your host for today. It is a true honor for me to be here surrounded today by incredible women who are courageous enough to take a stand, to share their stories, to share their practical experiences, to inspire and to challenge the status quo. So on my behalf as well, warm welcome to the Expanding Networks Women in Entrepreneurship. I can't hear you clap, but I hope that mentally you clapped and your mood is over the limit now. Worldwide, 6.2% of women owned established businesses compared to 9.5% of men. Even though in the past years, the situation and the status of women in business and entrepreneurship has improved dramatically, there is still a lot of work to do. And women are still underrepresented in entrepreneurship, whether being entrepreneurs or startup founders or investors, decision makers, leaders. Today, under the motto of connect, trust, and create, we will hear stories and experiences of incredible women, stories that will hopefully equip all of you who would like to embark on the journey of entrepreneurship, or provide tools for those of you who are already navigating in the world of entrepreneurship and business. And most importantly, today is all about networking. We believe that we thrive the best within the community. The community where knowledge and resources are shared. This event is just the beginning to what we hope will be a growing and developing community of women supporting women in entrepreneurship and beyond. Today is all about discovering and developing entrepreneurial competencies and creating the diverse and intersectional ecosystems to make women thrive in the entrepreneurship and business. As a fellow professional and an entrepreneur myself, this topic hits really close to home. I have a lot of motivations to be here today. And one of my biggest motivations is my daughter. And I hope that by being here today and having the hard conversations and having interesting discussions and supporting women, we all are contributing to building the kind of future and the kind of society where our children, our daughters can thrive in regardless of who they choose to be, given the equal opportunities in life and career. On this note, I'm very, very excited to introduce you the power ladies behind this event, two incredible women who made this happen, passionate and driven. So give a warm welcome to Kaya and Meredith.
Thank you, Julia, so much for the very warm introduction. Welcome to Expanding Networks, also from the organizer side. My name is Kaya Brandt, and together with Meredith Fuzel, we organized Expanding Networks and initiated the project standing behind this event, Women in Entrepreneurship.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Meredith. A little history of how everything started. So this project arose from two women who connected with each other over a coffee at a co-working space in Tampere. It was less than a year ago. We united in the cause to tackle the underrepresentation of women in the entrepreneurship world. We decided to take action, and here is born Women in Entrepreneurship. With our two diverse backgrounds, politics and business, we succeed in completing each other and lifting each other up to where we dreamt to be. And we all can do it, so let's trust, connect, and create.
As Julia just mentioned and highlighted a little bit which role women play in entrepreneurship, I just want to give a little bit more insights on this right now. Only 8% of women in the Finnish labor force are self-employed, and this percentage has not changed very much over the past decade. Only a third of all entrepreneurs in the European Union are female, and in Finland, not even a fourth of startup founders are female, remaining underrepresented in many areas, even though data shows that women in Finland have a high potential of fostering innovation. This is not only an underexploited source of economic growth, but missed opportunities for individuals, and also it is a structural problem. And while over 80% of women in Finland report that they have access to knowledge on starting a business, only around 30% of women consider themselves knowledgeable and skilled enough for starting a business. For this reason, we have created Expanding Networks. We want to provide knowledge and an opportunity to network with the goal of promoting entrepreneurship so that more diverse entrepreneurial ecosystems are created. Because only like this, innovative potential can be fully unlocked and sustainable development be secured. We are happy and humbled to be supported in the course by the creation of this event by people with the same vision for a more inclusive, intersectional, and sustainable business world. So at this point, we want to issue a warm thank yous to our speakers, Priyanka Banerjee, Donna Kivirama, Sini Havukainen, and Alexandra Santos. Of course, also to our host, Julia Sarorenko, and to our volunteers who are supporting the facilitated networking, which will follow after the keynotes, and also to Sointu Karjalainen. Also, we really thank Business Tampere for supporting this event and having made this possible. So without further ado, we hope after this hour of keynotes, you will have broadened your knowledge on entrepreneurship and will take action right away. Thank you.
Excellent welcoming words. Thank you so much, Kaya and Meredith. And I think that what you pointed out makes so much sense, that it's not just about women being underrepresented, but it's about the potential that we yet to unlock in the Finnish ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem, European and worldwide in general. So hopefully today, through the stories and experiences of 4 incredible women, we're going to feel more equipped to move forward and, like Kaya mentioned, have some very concrete steps afterwards. So as mentioned today, we're going to hear from 4 women, 4 different perspectives on entrepreneurship and their journey in it. And followed by the session, we're going to dive into the 2 networking sessions, 2 facilitated networking sessions. Please use the Q&A section in the Zoom if you wish to ask a question from our speakers. We may have a little bit of time to engage with speakers after the keynote, so please drop your questions there. Or if you feel like, you can also click like on the questions, so we would select the question that was liked by most people. And also don't forget to network with each other and connect on LinkedIn and use Brella tool and generally be active. Even though unfortunately we cannot see each other face to face, luckily we have the means of technology to still connect, engage, and hopefully take today's discussions forward after this virtual event. On this note, it's my joy and pleasure to introduce our first keynote speaker of the day, Priyanka Banerjee. She is a diversity inclusion coach and a co-founder of Business Wiz. Originally, she's from India, and she has a very strong engineering background and worked in IT as consultant with clients across the world, including Finland. Inspired by her experiences of working with diverse individuals in tech and a vision to create inclusive workspaces, she started Business Wiz to help businesses on their journey towards more inclusive environments and more diverse environments. She works with organizations to help them understand the existing company culture and providing them with tools to use to diversify and create more inclusive environment as a competitive advantage that would help them create a future-proof company culture. I know Priyanka personally. We've met on stage a couple of years ago, and we had a very interesting discussion, and I truly believe that she's one of the bravest advocates for inclusion and diversity in Finland, and I'm so honored that she joined our event today to share her story under the title of Create. So please give a warm welcome to Priyanka.
Hello, and thank you so much, Julia. I remember that we did meet a couple of years ago, and it was so amazing. And thank you for Kaya and Meredith for inviting me here. I am on the way to put my charger so that this doesn't go. So today, I am here to talk about creating diversity in entrepreneurship, and why I think it is important, and a little bit about my own journey. But to start with that, I can tell you that I literally never really thought in my life that I will ever become an entrepreneur. And to be honest, I never really thought that I could become an entrepreneur. running a business to me was not something normal people would do. It is something people with family-owned businesses do, or people with a lot of money in their bank account, or then people from Silicon Valley with these unicorn ideas in their pockets. But I was none of them. So the idea of entrepreneurship was so far away from what I could think of. And today I am here having my own business in Finland and speaking here to all of you. But raise your hands wherever you are. I cannot see you, unfortunately, but I believe wherever you are behind those screens, raise your hands if you were ever in my position when you never thought that you could become an entrepreneur, or even today, you find it difficult to think or put yourself in that position that I could someday be an entrepreneur. And you can raise your hands, and if you can write on the chat, I. So I would know that there are some people that also represent or understand what I am saying. But meanwhile, when you write on the chat, and please feel free to use the chat very, very openly so that we can have a more conversational style. But why is that so? Why being an entrepreneur seems so difficult and unattainable for some people more than the others? So one of the first things, Julia gave a really detailed description and bio about me, so I won't go into it once again, but I will tell you one of the first things that I heard when I told people that, hey, you know what, I'm going to register my company and I'm so excited. And I heard, oh no, you too? Like, what kind of jobs you were looking for? And I was like, jobs? I had a really good job in a multinational company. That is how I came to Finland, working for an IT company. And so the idea of understanding or believing that someone like me is trying to create a business in Finland was so foreign that they thought that it is because I couldn't find a job, which is unfortunately the case for many people. But this stereotype, it made me think that what happens to all those people who go across the same thing, the same thoughts that come to their mind, and the feeling or the need or the will to do something of my own was the factor that I was inspired to make this change in this ecosystem. But unfortunately, the idea of doing something of my own for generations has been either restricted or reserved for a certain type of people in our community. And this created what we know as the entrepreneur type. So there are many stereotypes that we know exist in the field of entrepreneurship and who can be the founder. All the popular media are the big companies running by, for example, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, or Evan Spiegel from, I think, Snapchat, and Andrew Mason from Groupon. They all show one picture, and that is a young white male. And these stereotypes of being an entrepreneur, of who that person looks like and who it can be, negatively impacts a lot of people. This lack of diversity and representation, we know that it is causing a lot of issues for women getting investors, because investors might have this unconscious bias that women will not do as good as their male counterpart founders. But it does one really bad thing outside the external boundaries. It creates a glass ceiling within your own mind. So people who do not relate to the popular understanding of a business person, they have one extra added layer of breaking the glass to be able to do what others can achieve. So if you do not belong, in very simple words, if you do not belong to the definition of being an entrepreneur, you have to first get over the lack of confidence that you might have. A lot of us have. I did. Most probably some of you don't, which is a really good thing. But a lot of us do have the lack of confidence that, oh my God, am I the first person to be able to do this? I don't know if I can do that. I have never seen someone doing that. So coming out of that feeling and then breaking the glass ceiling of our societies. And then if you manage to succeed, most likely you will become a beacon of hope for a lot of different people across the world. And that's why one of the reasons I'm so excited to be here, to be among so many great women entrepreneurs that have broken all these glass ceilings to be where they are. But then what should we do? What do we do about this lack of diversity, about this lack of representation? How can we create more diverse entrepreneurs, more diversity in entrepreneurship? So one of the biggest things that I feel is our responsibility is to speak up, is to tell our stories, because representation matters. When I started my journey of being an entrepreneur, I was really excited to okay, I'm going to find a mentor who looks like me, who doesn't speak Finnish, who is not from here, and she is a successful entrepreneur. And I couldn't find anybody. It was so difficult to find. Now I know, I think 1 or 2 people, but it is so hard to find a role model. And role models play a really important role in this, in bringing more and attracting more diverse individuals or more women in entrepreneurship, because they want to see someone looking like them to be there, to be doing what they're doing, what they dream of. The other thing that I wanted to share is about learning about our own differences, because one of the things that when we talk about women entrepreneurs, we generalize half of the world population, but that is not true. We have a lot of intersectionality among us. So for example, I am a woman of color, a cisgender, able-bodied, from a tech background, working with people and culture, highly educated. My experiences could be totally different from even a white woman with disability, or any other woman with a different educational background, and so many things. So we cannot generalize all of us. So when we talk about women in entrepreneurship, we need to understand that we have to take the intersectionality into account and then move forward, so that we can have more people, more women from different backgrounds, with understanding their own privileges and biases, and bringing more diversity into this field. And last, I see that I'm running out of time. So the last point that I would like today, everybody here and on online streaming, if they're seeing, I would like you to invite not just women, but everyone to think about, reflect on their own stereotypes and biases. What do they believe in? Are we ourselves creating the society which is biased? Can we look past that? Can we take a pause before making a decision? Our investors, communities, companies, our male entrepreneurs, our allies, and all of us, because together we can create a new picture of entrepreneurship. We can create a more diverse, a more inclusive community, and we can create a better future. So thank you for having me. If you have any questions, we are open to that. And yeah, back to you, Julia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Fantastic talk. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And it must have not been very easy to go through that. And let's hope that with people like you, and hopefully more of us will be inspired as well today, that the next time someone starts a company, the first question wouldn't be, oh, you too, but the first reaction would be, wow, congratulations. And I think that's where we should be heading together.
We are at the right track today. You know, 250 million women worldwide already in business and entrepreneurship, which is really great. So
it's really great. And I would hope that the tendency will continue in this regard. So thank you so much for sharing your story. It's been really amazing to hear, and I love how you actually told us very concrete steps on what can we do, each and every one of us, to make that change. Thanks for being with us today, and we're going to continue with our next keynote speaker. As you remember, we are talking today about create, trust, and connect as 3 subtopics for the event. Priyanka shared her first story under the theme of create, and we're going to have another very interesting story under the same subtopic. Donna Kiverauma is here today to share with us on the steps for getting your startup off the ground. Donna knows it by her own example, what's it really like to be an entrepreneur, the ups and the downs. She has been an entrepreneur for most of her life in the US and in Finland. Some of her ventures have been successful, some are less fortunate. However, she enjoys sharing what she has learned by mentoring young professionals and young entrepreneurs. And she's an advisor for several companies. As a speaker and as a coach, she provides very valuable knowledge and tips and tricks on entrepreneurship for those who are looking to be on that path. On a personal note, I'm so glad to see Donna, because Donna was my very first mentor when I arrived to Finland and started my career here. She taught me so much, and she was the person that really showed me what a Finnish sisu means. Her entrepreneurial story has always been a true inspiration for me, as she's really brave and courageous. And I'm so excited that she's here with us today to share what kind of concrete things you can do to get your company out there in the world and off the ground. So please give a warm welcome to Donna.
Julia, thank you so very much for that kind introduction, and hello to everyone. And thank you, Kaya and Meredith, also for inviting me today. Really am looking forward to sharing with everybody today. What I would like to do is get you started on your path to success. And I had my birthday last month and I turned 60. So I was feeling a little bit nostalgic. So I thought I'd go back 30 years to the very first company that I founded and take you on that journey, so that hopefully the steps that I took could help you on your path to your success. Okay, but before I get into that story, I want to lead with what I call the 4 Ps. I just carry them with me everywhere that I go because it is very key to success. And that is purpose, passion, positive thinking, and perseverance. Purpose is, why, what is so important about what it is that you're doing is important to you and to others. And you have to have passion for what you're doing, because people will follow you because of your passion. You'll be able to get the resources that you need because you're passionate. And it'll also carry you through your everyday. And then, of course, positive thinking, that is proactive problem solving. And it's very important to learn to solve your own challenges. Think of your solutions. When you solve them, it builds on your confidence that you can be successful. And you will also be very optimistic that you can do anything that you set your mind to do. And then, of course, perseverance. We have to keep going. And as Julia mentioned, the Sisu, you have to have it. You have to keep going. But the first 3, fortunately, will help you to persevere. Okay, so where was I 30 years ago? Well, that's actually me on the back of that bicycle and my little Claire, who's 34 now, but she was 4 years old in the trailer. So I was in Houston, Texas. I was a math teacher and a cross-country and track coach at a high school. And there were several days that I got to school, looked at my inbox, and there was a note that said, the air is too air quality is too bad outside today. You can't take your team outside for running. You need to practice indoors. Well, to a young mother, and just a person, I thought, this is crazy. We can't go outside and breathe the air. It's dangerous to be out there. And I thought, somebody has to do something. And I've never been one to accept the status quo. And I said, I have to do something. Well, in my research, what I found was that it was mostly the cars in Houston causing the problem. So what did I do? I gave away my car, traded it for a bicycle and a bike trailer, and that was my mode of transportation. I ended up fighting for bike lanes in the city and doing all sorts of things. I became a thought leader on the topic. A lot of organizations asked me to come and speak. I was in lots of newspapers and magazines. I was even selected as Bicyclist of the Month in Texas Bicycling Magazine. Well, I did this for a couple of years, and finally the Democrats were in charge of the government. And as part of the Clean Air Act, Texas said, Houston, you need to clean up your air. And we know the cars are a big problem. So part of what we're going to implement is a mandate that any employer that has at least 100 employees, so you're talking about bigger companies, they must reduce the cars coming to the workplace. You can only have 2 cars for every 3 people. And if you don't comply, we're going to fine you $25,000 a day. So this was very stiff penalties. So of course, there I am, being a thought leader, everybody coming to me about, what are we going to do about getting rid of all of these cars? And I decided to start my own company. It was called C.A.R.S, Commuter Alternative Resource Services. And we were a consulting company, but also we had a tech solution that enabled us to comply with the government reporting mandates. So in your path to building your company, the step 1 is, what is your idea? And it really needs to be a problem that is screaming for a solution. I mean, this was a biggie. These big companies with money to pay for the services that they needed, they were able to get my business off the ground. It was easy. I mean, this was an easy thing to start. And I had the passion. I mean, to say that I was passionate is just understated. I mean, I was protecting my children. They needed to breathe clean air. And so passion is really, really important when you're coming up with your idea. Okay, so now, I have this company that I'm going to get started. All these I already had some potential customers and everything, but this was 30 years ago. And 30 years ago, when you were starting a company, in order to let everybody know that you exist, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones, but every company would get a landline so that they could have a phone number and be in the phone book. That's how people would find you, from the yellow pages, the phone book. And of course, also you would make brochures and mail it to people, or you would get newspaper or television or radio ads, very expensive advertising. But that's how it was done. And for me, I didn't have a budget for all of that. So I talked to a friend who worked for a marketing company, and she said, Donna, what you're doing is just amazing. Come and talk to my boss, and we're going to see what we can do to help you. Well, I went and did that, and he was so excited. Not only did they design my brochure for me and do, all the layout and copywriting and everything, they printed thousands of copies. I never had to buy a brochure for my company. And then that landline that I needed, when I called the phone company to set that up, the telephone operator said, well, what is this C.A.R.S? And I said, well, did you know that in Houston, approximately 45 days a year, it's unhealthy to go outside and breathe the air? And I said, our company is going to help reduce the number of cars on the road by working with companies to incentivize their employees to ride share, ride their bike, take the bus instead of driving their car. She said, oh, this is amazing. She said, if you ever need any help, please let me know. she gave me her phone number and she said, I don't care how menial the task is, I'll do it. And the thing about this is both of these people and everybody that I talked to with this, they were connecting with my why. They saw what I was doing was important. So it's very, very important that you express, what are your values, and develop that 1-minute pitch. You never know who you're going to meet and may have resources for you when you're talking to them. So be able to talk about your idea in terms of why you're so important in that 1-minute time frame. So as you can see from those 4 P's from the beginning, purpose and passion can attract resources for you. And whenever I'd started the company, I looked at, what I had personally. And one of the things that I was lacking back then, it was just 30 years ago, is I didn't have a strong background in technology. And the service that I really needed to create was for big companies. So we were going to be going in and putting a software into these big enterprise systems, and people needed to be able to easily, report how they came to work. That was part of the service that I was going to be providing. And I didn't have this kind of expertise. This was something that I needed to find. But I got my positive thinking going and thinking, where can I get these resources? Of course, I could have bought them from somebody, hired people. I could have brought another co-founder on board that had these skills, or I could find a partner. And actually what happened, I was at one of the events with those brochures that I had, giving them out to people, and I met someone who was already developing a service for a Shell oil company. And it was a great enterprise system. And he was thinking, well, it would be great if I had somebody to market it to other companies, we could get more money. And I needed the solution. So this was just a perfect match. So I was able to find that solution without outlaying a lot of money. So as you were building your company, you're going to build your team around you. And these can be co-founders, early hires, mentors, advisors, or partners in the case of what I had with this technology company. But a couple of tips when you're doing this. Of course, use your positive thinking. And I know Julia can attest to this too. With all of my companies, I've been able to do a lot with very little, because I find what I can give somebody back, and then what they can give me that I'm needing. So try to find those ways, and only take team members that are just as passionate as you are about your idea. It will go so much easier, and they'll give 100% every day and be able to take those ups and downs if they're passionate along with you. And then don't give away too many shares too early. You want to be able to save shares for later on when you're doing funding. Of course, if you need to bring on, excuse me, I've been sick a little bit. If you need to bring on early mission critical people, absolutely be generous with the shares. I've done that too, where we've been equal partners with one of my ideas. So the next thing I want to talk about is, does anybody actually want your product? And this is a very key step. And I've listed all these steps, but they don't necessarily have to come in order, because you could do idea validation early on if you have all the resources you need, but many people just don't have that. But this is an extremely important step, and you're going to be doing this a lot because your idea might change, and you need to then validate what it is that you're changing, and will people really want this? Will somebody actually buy this? And what you need to create is what's called a minimum viable product, the MVP. And this is the least amount of resources and time and money that you need in order to validate that somebody wants to buy this. In my case, it was the brochure, and I didn't even have to pay for that. So I had very, very minimal time and money put into this. But it could be a survey, it could be a clickable demo, it could be, you might have to make a prototype, but again, try to use minimal resources, because again, what you're creating might not be the final thing. And of course, we would all like to think our idea is so amazing that whatever our target market is, that 100% of them want it. But nobody gets there. You're going to fall short. But the closer that you can get to that 100, it's going to make it so easy for you to gather the resources that you need and also get the funding that you need. So really keep idea validation in mind and have proofs that people actually will pay for your service. So where's C.A.R.S now? So you're probably thinking, okay, well, this was such a great idea. It was wonderful. I mean, I was so happy. I was passionate. I was successful. I was making money. It just all made sense. Well, the same thing that started my company actually ended it, because typically what happens in the US, as you know, the elections are all going on. It's crazy over there, but different parties come into power. So 2 years after the Democrats were in power, then the Republicans were in power. The first thing they did was eliminate that mandate for employers. And just sadly, I mean, it was crazy. The other thing they eliminated was all over the city of Houston, they had built these emission testing centers for cars. They shuttered them, they closed them. Fortunately, later they were reopened, but it just crazy things like that. But anyway, all my customers had to call them up. You don't have to do this anymore. They were all like, thank you, bye. You know, we're not going to do this, except one. One said it was such a great program that if they took it away, then their employees would think they were losing a benefit, because they heavily subsidized, you know, bus rides and cab rides if you had to get home to your family. So, but the point here is that there's going to be risk and threats to your company, and you need to try to minimize all of the external threats by knowing them and addressing them and being prepared for them. For me, I didn't have a lot of money into this. I was making money. I was happy. I could have just kept doing that and doing very well and growing that business forever. It would have been great. But when the laws changed, it was okay. I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. And then I moved on to the next thing. And investors will ask you, what are the risks and threats to your business? So you really need to know that. So to recap my talk, you really need to have an idea that's based on a problem that's screaming for a solution, that you are considered a thought leader, that people can respect your ideas, and that you can be very passionate about. You want to develop that 1-minute pitch, because you never know where your resources are going to come. You also want to define your values and your purpose, because it's that purpose and that passion that's going to get you everything you need to be successful. And especially to gather the resources you need that purpose and passion. You want to build your core team, and that can look like, you know, hires. It could be co-founders, it could be partners, whatever resources you need. And then, of course, validate that idea, very clearly validate that idea, and know that this is something that people will pay for, and do that risk and threat assessment. And I think the most important is carry with you everywhere you go those 4 P's for success. So that's all I have. And I just want to thank you. And I am sincere when I say this. My LinkedIn is there. Reach out, connect to me if you're not already connected. If there's anything that I can do to help any of you, I would be so happy to do that. I don't know how much time we have left. Let me stop this share. If there's time for questions, but if there is, I'd be happy.
But Donna, thank you so much for your keynote. This was incredible. It was just like a crash course into entrepreneurship that companies go through as part of Startup Accelerator, startup program, and you generously sharing this knowledge with us today. It's so valuable. It's so beyond valuable. Thank you so much for your story, for your CISO story, and for all your experiences. And what resonated with me the most is the finding the people that are so passionate together growing this business with you. I think that was
it's very key. And once you define your values, then it's easy for people to know that they match with you too. So It's very, very, very important.
It is definitely.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
honey.
much. This
Okay.
was incredible. Thank you for your
Thank you.
story, and definitely I encourage everyone connect with Donna on LinkedIn. She's so generous and incredible with giving advice and offering support. That sometimes that word of support is all you need to kickstart your career or company. So thank you, Donna, for being with us here today. Excellent. We're moving to our next keynote speaker, and now under the theme of trust. Sini Havokainen is a CEO and co-founder of LAYETTE, a startup that exports the world's best maternity knowledge of Finland to the rest of the world. After year, Finland has been chosen to be the best country where you start your motherhood journey, and the data continuously shows the lowest infant and maternal mortality rates in the world. Sini is herself a professional midwife and a nurse. And after she has realized what an incredible national resource we have as Finland, she turned this opportunity into the business. And thanks to her vision and energy and leadership, her company has won in Finland nearly all possible awards. And when I say this, I'm not exaggerating. It's almost every morning when I open my LinkedIn, I see Sini there, or one of her posts, one of the awards, one of the speeches, and so forth. The kind of incredible personal brand she has built during her entrepreneurial journey, it's truly inspiring, and the energy that she spreads out there really motivated me many, many times. So I'm so excited to hear what story she has to share with us today. So please give a warm welcome to Sini.
Oh, thank you so much for those beautiful words. And it's a pleasure to be here today with you. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, can you hear me? And can you see the slides?
Yes, it's perfect. We can see.
Perfect. Yes, so it's a pleasure to be here with you today. So as you heard, my name is Sini Havokainen, and I promise to tell a little story about how I'm actually originally a midwife, and at the moment I'm a CEO and co-founder of LAYETTE. So what happened between? And first I started to work as a midwife and a nurse in the hospital. Actually, I was working many years in the delivery room, and 2012, we moved to California, Silicon Valley. And there I realized that, oh my God, in Finland, we really have the lowest maternal and infant mortality rates. And year after year, Save the Children organization has choose Finland to be the best country in the world to be a mom. And we have very unique, we call it neuvola, but maternity clinic concept here. So I was starting to think that how I, as a Finnish midwife, how I can create a new export product for Finland. And then when, like in California, of course, I love that startup atmosphere, a little bit, of course, the sun and pool also, but like when we moved to Finland, everyone wanted, of course, me to go back to the hospital, to the delivery room, and I loved every single second to work there, but I was like, no, I have so much more to do. And then we founded LAYETTE 2015. And yeah, LAYETTE is a multi-award-winning e-health company, and we are exporting that Finnish maternity knowledge with our mobile application. And in LAYETTE, we have actually hundreds of articles and videos about pregnancy, parenthood, childhood, delivery, breastfeeding, everything you have to know. And we are cooperating in Finland with Finnish Red Cross, Heart Association, Diabetes Association. So we get those text and articles from like many different ways. And actually, this is something very new. Actually, I'm quite sure any of you cannot even know that, because we are going to launch a virtual antenatal clinic very soon, in a couple of weeks, I think. And it's kind of like app inside of the app. So it's the appointments follow the structure of the Finnish maternity clinic system. And we have a virtual nurse, Emma. And when the mother gets pregnant, she logged in to our virtual antenatal clinic, and with Emma, she goes through, we have 75 appointments, and then we have those articles and charts for self-monitoring and that kind of super cool things. And we are going to launch it soon later, but you are maybe one of the first ones who will heard about that. We launched LAYETTE 2018 here in Finland, and at the moment about half of the pregnant women have already downloaded it. So here we are kind of like on a very good position, and it was kind of, it's our target that in Finland, when you get pregnant, you kind of like, of course you download LAYETTE, and I'm very happy what's happening here at the moment. So here it's very good, but our main idea when we founded LAYETTE, it wasn't only inside the Finland, because we have that maternity knowledge already, of course now in the digital way, but the whole idea was open it for international markets. So I will tell you more about that. First, I will introduce our team. So LAYETTE has at the moment a team of 8 professionals specialized in maternity and infant care, business and software development, as well as sales and marketing. But yeah, I promised to tell you about our international business things at the moment. So actually in China, they have an official guideline that they want to reduce the maternal and infant mortality rates before 2030. So of course, LAYETTE wants to be part of that goal. And in Japan, they are taking the Finnish maternity clinic concept country-wide. So that's why we already opened our Japanese market. And also we have negotiations in, I don't know, 7 countries in Europe at the moment. And this is something, you know, when we are, or actually when I am a midwife, actually when we heard today before about that I ever thought to be an entrepreneur ever, and then life just changed, and you know, like my brain changed and everything changed. And surprisingly, I'm the co-founder and CEO, flying all over the world. And we have had negotiations in Ministry of Health in Japan, in China, being in the head of United Nations in New York. And actually exactly 1 year ago, I was in had a speech in European Parliament in Brussels. So I have been all over the world nowadays because of that entrepreneur, how to say it, like trip, if I can call it like that. And as you heard before, so those years have of course been full of, how to say it, like I can call it like real roller coaster. I think that every single day is a roller coaster. It's not only winning, but we have won, so like actually we have taken part of 13 competitions, and we have won 11 of those first place awards. So, you know, like, because of course we have those bad news and 1 million times hearing that no word. So it's also good that we have those positive things in between. So, and as you heard, Donna told for passion. So I think at least it's, for me, it's the most important, and it's not something, at least I think, that you cannot order it from some, you know, like online, but it has to come from your heart. And I really want to, you know, like how to like say that, you know, like, of course, the life is full of stress and full of, you know, like, I don't know if, you know, like, I'm just, you know, like, I just want to say that you miss 100% shot you never take, because if I compare me as a midwife, as a, you know, like, just exactly the normal basic mom of 2 children living in Finland. So if I can do it, everyone can do it. And as I promised to tell something about trust, so just trust yourself. And, you know, like, there is not, how to say it, like 2 big dreams, if I can say it like that. So just follow your dreams and be unstoppable and break the rules. And, you know, like, we have at the moment, we have our investment round, but we have done it already once last year, and there were like, I don't know, 100 times no. And I thought that every single day when I woke up, I thought that, okay, today can be the day, today. And it was like, no. But then you're like, just don't give up, because someday just put it to your head that it should be not yet, because someday it will be yes, and then you are on your way to the, to the space, or to the up there. And I just want to say, all of you, thank you, and be your own life unicorn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stini. Wow, this was so energetic. I love your energy, absolutely. And completely agree with hearing not yet instead of no. This is so important, because no's and failures and rejections are going to come, but they're also the ones that will expose your true potential and give you the learning opportunity and connections. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And actually, I used your app last year when I was pregnant. So it's a fantastic product, and really proud of this Finnish expert product. And also a very good philosophy behind it is that we have this precious knowledge within Finland, tacit knowledge. So let's share it. And I think that's a beautiful thought around it. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for carrying on the legacy of Finnish maternal system. And yeah, good luck on the new launch of your feature in the app.
Thank you, and have a perfect, how to say it, like waiting for Christmas at least.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sini. All right, and on this inspiring note, we're heading to the last speaker, keynote speaker of the first part of the event, right before we jump into the networking. And speaking of networking, this comes as the theme topic of Connect. Alexandra Santos is the COO of the Platform 6, a recently opened startup house right in the center of Tampere. She's also a co-founder of Stream Startup Festival, a not-for-profit startup event in Tampere that aims to empower local startup scene by bringing practical support and tools for the early stage startups and growth startups as well. Over the past years, Alexandra has been also working in various roles in the local startup community, Tribe Tampere, pushing its startup scene forward. She's a friend of mine, a colleague of mine. We've spent a lot of days and evenings together working on the startup scene in Tampere, and her passion and enthusiasm for this is endless. And if I could hear a story from a person who has been so passionate about building a community in Tampere, that would be Alexandra. So I'm so excited that she's here with us today, sharing the story of community under the theme of Connect in this event. So please give warm welcome to Alexandra.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, thank you so much, Julia. Really was hoping that we would be seeing each other and really continuing all the energy, but I'll try to put all the energy that I can through this screen and to everyone that is in here today. Networking and community. So everybody talks pretty much about the benefits of having a network and surrounding yourself like with a group of professionals that can help you throughout your journey. I have been using a lot when building the local startup community about this African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child, that it's really like with the power of everyone that you can really support everyone. I would like to change that kind of slogan today for it takes a diverse community to raise more female entrepreneurs. And I would like to start a bit about the role of the basically all startup communities, the networks, and the events. It's super important to actually have this representation, especially in tech. It's really about time that we really need to kill kind of the Silicon Valley stereotypes, right? This male hustler white man that, you know, works 24/7 building his company from his garage. the stories here today exemplify exactly that people have so different backgrounds, and we really need more of this representation in events. So thank you so much for the organizers for this. It is really, really important to really give more stories of different women that are really doing amazing things. And this sort of like communities and the networks and events, they are as well extremely powerful platforms for learning and supporting one another. Everybody needs this little push of encouragement, more empowerment, that you really, everybody has what it takes really to make a change in the life. Telling a bit about my own story and my own journey. Like if I would look at my life 5 years ago, I would never think that, I would be an entrepreneur, or that, that I would have this risk taking in myself. So something that has been really, really like a journey, and kind of trying to reinvent myself a few times. To give you like a very short background on myself, I'm a translator by kind of education. I came to Finland to be working in Nokia in software testing and quality assurance. Then I met a few crazy people that were co-founding this thing called Tribe Tampere. And after that, the journey has really shifted. And I think it's about many times that the journey is intimidating, the journey is uncomfortable at times, but when you surround yourself, and I think Donna was as well speaking, like really surrounding yourself with positive people really makes, a big difference. Sorry, someone was calling me. Kind of, what are the tricks or what are the advices that I would give for anyone that really wants to start their journey as an entrepreneur, or really like finding out whether this is for you? I think extremely important in the network is for you to set a clear goal. Like, why do you want to meet certain people? Like, what do you want? Do you want to share your knowledge? Do you want to meet like fellow peers? Maybe you want to dramatically change your career. Do you want to just find new opportunities? I would say meeting new people is not good enough. You really need to go like more detail level on why you really want to go out there, attend events. One thing that is really important as well is that through events and through the networking, you really gain access to people that generally are out of your reach. And I would say that generally for women and entrepreneurships, the lack of representation and the numbers, I think, Kaya, you were mentioning that in Finland, only 8% of the entrepreneurs are female. So how does everybody has access to exactly the same kind of conditions and possibilities? How you can actually raise your profile and increase your trust with peers and partners. We really need to find ways to really empower the other women in your network. And really, I think something that we really started as one of the key things in Tribe Tampere community has been to really cultivate this culture of introductions to new people, really helping people that otherwise they wouldn't not know. And a lot of us that are here in this call today, and a lot of the speakers are not from Finland originally, so kind of our networks in here are not as good. But if you set your goal and you do your homework, for example, in the networking session after, or in any networking session in the future, it's really important that you really do your homework and try to understand what other communities, what do you want from the other person? Something really, really concrete. Because the networking basically is based on people. It needs to be organic and needs to be like mutual value and benefits for both parties. So I want to just leave a few advices. They have been like extremely helpful to me in order to build networks, not only personal and professional. I'm a very curious person, so I always want to know more. So this sharing knowledge and knowing more, meeting people that do what I do, has always been like what is thriving me. And then the culture of paying it back. And I think many women need to do that more, really helping to pave the way to more women to build their own connections. And remember, even though the connections are personal, the value that you bring to your community isn't. So it will stay within your community. Your community will get richer and richer. So hopefully you took some good advices and you can now build your own tribe. Thank you.
Hi, thanks so much. This was so great, so inspiring. I really love the quote that you have created, that it takes a diverse community to raise female entrepreneurs. Is it quotable?
Maybe, yes. I actually came up with this quote this morning when I was like thinking that generally one of the key issues when you start thinking about, what is really causing, only in Finland, for example, only having this 8% of female entrepreneurs. Yeah. It's really that the community is not diverse enough. So it's when the community is not diverse enough, it doesn't really pull women or diverse backgrounds into it, right? So exactly. If I see you on stage, as I saw you many times, then I see myself in you, right? So I'm more prone to approach you, to go and talk with you, to create a meaningful connection with you.
Exactly, that's an excellent point. And actually, I think that there are so many different elements to that, why females are still underrepresented. Because, for instance, only 19% of people studying tech are females, and this number is incredibly low. So the starting point maybe is already, from early on. So I think now building the communities that are so diverse is our way to maybe break out of the stereotypes and correct mistakes that happened earlier on to create more diverse environments. So I think this was really excellent point, and congratulations on opening the platform 6. It's very exciting. So hopefully
what I try to do these days is kind of use the role that I have in the community and really ensure it's a diverse community, that a community that I feel safe, that I feel welcome, that whether you're a female entrepreneur with kids, with no kids, that we really are there for you. So
exactly, and this is excellent point. And speaking of kids, my apologies for my background noises of crying babies here.
I would actually say we should start apologizing. That's oh, sorry, I have kids or I need to leave. I think it's actually beautiful that people have families and they bring that human side to things. I think it can be as well very, it makes you more approachable as well. Like,
definitely. I think you have a good point. Now, especially during this year, 2020, we got to maybe stop apologizing for the backgrounds and the background noises and how we look. I mean, now that we've had Zoom basically on 24/7, very good point. Thank you so much, Alex, for sharing your story with us. And hopefully that we can then continue discussion on LinkedIn after this as well. So thanks a lot for being here with us.
Thank you.
And now, before we move on to the next part, I would like to ask every one of you, how are you feeling, guys? Can you please comment in the chat section one word that you feel right now? Or do you feel empowered or inspired? Or did you just all of a sudden get a cool idea to start your own company? So please comment there. Let's see how are we doing. Powerful, empowered. Fine, let's do this. Oh yeah, confident, excited, amazing. Feeling the Finnish sisu. That's right. Finnish sisu is present in the air today. That's true. Connected, inspired, interested. Very good. Lots of inspired. Feeling great. Awesome. All right, thank you so much. Now let's take this vibe and carry it on to our next session. We're going to have a very short break before the networking. But before that, I would like to say that the purpose of the networking is for us to truly exchange ideas, really connect and bond. Since this is not a face-to-face event where we can, have a coffee together or see someone in the queue on the way to restroom. That's not possible. So we facilitate it now and divide you into very diverse groups so that we can really bond here and take that bond onto the face-to-face community and hopefully meet face-to-face someday as well. So we're going to have a very interactive two-part networking sessions. Before that, I would like to give stage to Kaya for a little while.
Yes, thank you really much. Again, thank you, first of all, everyone for joining. Thank you to our amazing speakers and the great input. It's amazing to now read what everyone's saying, how they are feeling. On this note, I just quickly wanted to inform you about an event that is coming up. The Women's Entrepreneurship Day Virtual Summit. We're not directly related in any kind of way to that event, but just because it's a big event happening in Finland and it's supporting the cause of women entrepreneurship, to let you know on this that this is happening. So again, thank you really much. I'm really looking forward to be now seeing you for those who have registered at the networking. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out via LinkedIn to Meredith and to me. We are happy to answer all questions or also listen to your feedback. So again, thank you. And I wish you a great afternoon.
Excellent. Thank you, Kaya. And also joining your words, I'm really grateful to all the speakers who found time to be here today and share their stories with us. And let's take that forward to networking session. And please also remember to use Umbrella tool for networking and connecting with each other and continuing discussion beyond this event format as well. Now we're going to have a 10-minute break. So please be back here to the main room at 20 or 25 past 3. You will be automatically divided into the discussion groups. And from there on, you will be assigned a facilitator and we begin our discussion then.
Just quickly, the link, of course, for the networking, we have a separate room for the networking. So please use the link that you've been provided in the emails for all those who have registered to the networking. We will meet there and divide you. Join as soon as possible so we have time and we can start on time and use the time for talking rather than for planning.
Yeah. So let's agree 20 past 3, then we join in after a very short break. So thank you. See you all there.
See you there.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.